episode of the Men in Scoring Position podcast, coming to you live from the new digs here at Casa de Bins. I'm your resident runner on second, Bill Kyrish, joined, as always, zone around here is the runner on third because he's always about to score, Travis Bins. Travis, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good.
What's going on, guys? If this is your first time tuning in, we are the Men in Scoring Position. We are a sports-related podcast. Sports adjacent, if you will. You can find us on any one of our social media platforms, Facebook, SoundCloud, iTunes, all self-titled Men in Scoring Position. You can also find us on Twitter and Snapchat at Men in Scoring POS. We have an email where you can email us any of your questions, Men in Scoring Pod, and we are exclusively on YouTube. Billy, what do they always need to do?
Rate, review, subscribe, and tell a friend.
Tell a plethora?
A cornucopia, if you will.
Oh, man.
Before we begin, I thought we'd shout out to all the people on the Facebooks who've been commenting, liking, sharing. Yeah. Love you guys. That's so cool.
It is really cool. And another thing is, podcasts are a dime a dozen. We like to think we know what we're talking about, but more often than not, we don't. So we appreciate, the love and the respect and the admiration. So
and the back and forth too, Darren Doxey. Shout out to you, buddy.
Yep. Yeah. Orange, Julius Driscoll.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All you guys. Clark. Our good buddies at Larcher and Lawrence.
Great wrestling podcast. Check them out.
Yeah. Primetime Profits. Good Chicago-based sportcast, and also. Their name holds water when it comes down to profits because they're 8 championships in
a row. At the beginning of the year, they guess, I believe it's a one sport or multiple sports. They guess the champion.
The Patriots,
and they've been
Steelers.
Right. I mean, let's just say they guessed the Warriors last year. Shout out, you still got it right, but still,
Oh man, we have a lot of stuff. The guys, I don't know if you know, but this is my favorite time of the month.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, some would say.
Year. Excuse me, not month. Favorite time of the month.
September 2nd. Second day of the month. My favorite.
Well, it is the start of college football. We got Michigan starting today. At 2:30, which is my team. Speaking of NCAA, Bill, let's do a little bit of previews and breakdown. First off, you went to UCF.
I did, and by the way, another shout out UCF. We beat the fuck out of FIU, 61-17.
Are you making these these letters up? UCF, FIU, IFU, UFF.
UF me, IFU. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see. Okay.
I see. Nice.
Yeah, you like that?
I just want to say Scott Frost has really turned around our program. 2 years ago, we went 0-12 after a pretty decent run with George O'Leary. I don't know if you guys remember, I still remember my freshman year, we almost beat Texas. If freaking, what's his name, Israel doesn't dive for a first down, he already has, and fumble. We beat Texas in the opener of our bounce house, the Bright House Stadium. But, so Scott Frost took over 2 years ago, I believe. We went 0-12. Last year we went 6-7 or 6-6, somewhere around there. And this year, I know FIU is not necessarily a household name, but to beat anyone that's in the FBS 61-17, I think is pretty damn cool.
You're making up these letters. It's just all I heard was A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No, that is impressive. And sports fans are so fickle, especially ones that really don't examine and dissect the game. And when you see a 6-6, you're like, oh, he's a bum, get it out of it. No, it's progression, and that's kind of a jab at a lot of Bears fans right now. And we will get to that. But if you guys are calling for Fox's head after all that he's had to work with and all that he's had to do, you guys are fucking idiots, and I'm going to explain why later. But back to NC. So UCF is your team? Is that who you?
Them
obviously
UF.
That's your alma mater.
Yeah. So UCF, it's hard to root for a team that went 0-12. That's never easy.
Right.
Plus, my brother went to UF, and we grew up like UF. FSU, not really picking a side. And then when my brother went to UF, we started rooting for UF, and then the Tebow era was really fun, and it's.
So you're going against me today.
It's it's UF and UCF for sure.
All right. Well, let's do a little preview and breakdown of the divisions. Why don't you head?
I like it. So I think we start with UF's conference, the SEC, aka the best conference in football.
Jesus.
So you got Alabama, right? You got Alabama. I think they've won 3 titles in 5 years, something along those lines.
Yeah.
They're bringing back...
They're so good that they make you forget how shitty Nick Saban was of a coach in the.
I never forget how bad he was in Miami. But they're returning their sophomore quarterback, Jalen Hurts, who I think is their best quarterback they've had under Nick Saban. You look at John Parker David Wilson, whatever. It's the white guy with 3 names. That's been their quarterback in the Nick Saban era. And this is their first athletic quarterback who can run the read option, who can perfectly run. It was Lane Kiffin's offense last year. They have, I think, Sarkisian's their coordinator this year.
What a fall from grace.
Lane Kiffin?
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. He's the head coach at FAU.
I know. That's why I'm saying. Okay. How do you go from wasn't he the head coach of the Raiders too a couple years ago?
Yeah, and then Al Davis fired him for fraud.
Yeah. As if Al Davis doesn't have a tarnished record as is.
I just want to say FAU. I brought them to the national championship in my NCAA football dynasty. Shout out.
You're done with letters.
So you have Alabama, of course. You have the usual suspects. You have LSU. You have Ole Miss. You have Mississippi State, and then coming on the East, you have Tennessee, Florida, Georgia. So I think I'm not going to go too much out on a limb. I'm going to say Bama wins the SEC. That's really not. I mean, even though they graduate every year, a few first rounders, definitely a few second rounders every year, especially on defense, over and over again. I think their offense with Hurts and Scarborough is going to be just a monster 1-2 combination.
Well, Scarborough is a very, very scary dude if you just look at him.
He's just so fast.
Yeah.
He's so fucking fast.
He's strong.
Huge. Yeah.
But here's the thing, too, is as much as I wanted to hate on Nick Saban, and I know, like, Fred, you're a huge Alabama fan, you have to give credit to their scouts and their recruiting. Because, like you said, it's not like you have this one good crop. I mean, they keep grooming. That's 4 years. 4 years. That's every 4 years, you know? Mm-hmm. So, assuming that they even stay that long.
Yeah.
So, they're really looking down. They're scouting talent at 8th grade, freshman year. Time out.
Did you see Lane Kiffin offered a scholarship to a 7th grader?
No. Are you serious? There's probably a reason he's like
FAU. 6'6" and like he's a left tackle. So
yeah, and he's probably gonna like get out of it by the time he's like
he's gonna blindside him.
Yeah, he's gonna blind. Yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah, I mean we could break down every single division, which we will, but at the end of the day, the favorites are obviously Ohio State and Bama.
But I mean SEC.
Well, right, obviously
coming out.
Bama. Yeah, but Bama is nobody's gonna knock them off. I mean the only thing is War Eagles, Auburn.
Okay. Interesting.
But I'm not going with them. I mean, you have to go Bama. If you're a betting man, you go Bama.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's Bama. I think it's a rematch of last year. If Florida can get their shit together, they have 10 guys suspended for this game today. If they can get their stuff together,
what is going on over
there? I don't freaking know.
There always seem to be like some kind of controversy.
That's a question for sports psychologists. I don't know what's going on in UF. So if they can get their stuff together, McElwain's a good coach. That defense is always on point. I think Tennessee, year after year, is always, for some reason, always picked to win the East, and Florida's been winning it recently. So I'm going to just repeat last year and go Bama and Florida in the SEC, and then Bama wins the SEC.
Okay.
Moving on to the ACC, you have your returning champions, Clemson, who's on the TV right now.
Yeah.
You have the reigning Heisman champion at Louisville and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
You have FSU, who is playing Alabama, the aforementioned Alabama, to start off. You have University of Miami. Is this Miami's year to come back? You know, you got Georgia Tech with
dropped a dime
with that triple off option, which is just so rare to see nowadays.
Right.
ACC is pretty interesting this year.
I find it the most interesting division there, and if you don't mind, I'm going to go Louisville. I think he's going to come back and be more polished, and I don't think he could get any better than he was last season. You know what I mean? I don't have the exact statistics in front of me, but I don't think that his touchdown interception ratio was crazy astronomical. Like he wasn't putting up like gaudy numbers, but he was efficient. He moved the ball, and they had a very prolific offense. Yeah. So I think it's only going to get better.
I think they beat the crap out of the play. I mean, they beat the crap out of FSU last year. I think Clemson is going to have a lot of talent. I agree with you, though. I think Louisville's coming out. I just think they have the best player in the conference. Obviously, the best player. It's hard to not say that the reigning Heisman champion is the best player. To say he's not the best player. So it's...
And it doesn't... I mean, usually... I mean, I can't think of any cases where a Heisman just falls off the following year.
I mean...
Like, that hard.
Obviously, only Archie Griffin has won 2, so do I think he's the front runner for the Heisman? No, but I think he's the best player in the conference, best player right now. And I think in college football, we saw it with Vince Young. I mean, one quarterback can make the difference.
Yeah, especially if they master the offense. I mean, there's just nothing you can do. Which, like you were saying earlier, too, about that triple read offense. If you can find a quarterback and running back combination that are cerebral enough to execute that offense, it's fun to watch.
Not just cerebral enough, but you get hit every freaking play because you're waiting for the last second to pitch.
And then
that's the whole idea. Is you're supposed to read the defense. If he comes at you, you pitch it,
right?
And then if you don't, you have to run and get tackled anyway. So the quarterback, when they're all like in the pros, like, oh, put a skirt on him, oh, put flags on him. It's like, there's these guys that go into college and they run the triple option. Those are some tough dudes.
Yeah, I mean, how does it transition into the NFL?
It doesn't.
That's a whole nother.
It really doesn't. I'm just saying in general.
Well, even the beating they put on their bodies.
Yeah.
So
you want to put a beating on Brady's body?
You were talking about coming, so I don't even want. I would love to put a beating.
So
on
I think
Brady's body.
we both have Bama, we both have Louisville. So Big Ten, we're doing the Power 5 conferences.
Michigan.
Big Ten. You got
Michigan's whooping the shit out of Ohio State after that double overtime fucking nonsense last year.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, 5 of the refs were all Ohio State alum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. And it's
Wait,
just,
is this the same website you got the McGregor pulling punches?
Don't even with me. Fuck Ohio State. I don't give a fuck if they're favored. Michigan is coming back with a vengeance this year. The only problem that I see with Michigan is who's actually going to start. Obviously, you have Spate, who was the guy last year, but they do have some young talent coming up there. And, you lose a guy like Jabril Peppers, who was a superstar, who's looking good.
Yeah.
Had that, pick 6, I beliave.
His pick 6 against the Bucs. No, it wasn't pick 6. It was a pick. He returned for 70.
Yeah.
Against the Bucs, which was his number one. It wasn't him making a play. It was more a deflection. But the big knock on him. I'm saying the big knock on him was that he was
too
a
high
pass breaker upper. He wasn't a interceptor. He wasn't an Ed Reed. He wasn't a ball hawk. He could break the ball up, but he lacked in coverage. He lacked the instinct as a safety to come over the middle and grab. And
to me is just ridiculous.
He only had two. He had 2 career interceptions.
It doesn't matter. Like, he was always in on the play. I mean, and he was super young. I mean, he's a young guy.
Yeah, he's 12 years old.
Yeah, I mean, he's an anomaly. I mean, I think PBS did a documentary on him. So it's crazy.
So I think going on to you got Michigan. You still got to mention Ohio State with that explosive offense with J.K. Dobbins. He was the freshman running back. They played Thursday night, against Indiana. It was looking pretty close up until third quarter, and then just their athleticism took over. You had J.K. Dobbins, as I mentioned, the running back, run for 180 yards. Their wide receiver, Paris Campbell, is just a blazer. But also he's shades of Ted Ginn. I think he went for like 100 or so yards, including a 70-yard touchdown, but then dropped a 50-yard touchdown wide open. So this is Ted Ginn incarnate. Johnny Dixon, and then, of course, returning their quarterback, Barrett, JT Barrett.
Yeah.
So I think they're a force to be reckoned with.
And
I think,
as much as I hate Ohio State, and I don't mean to cut you off, you have to talk about Urban Meyer. I mean, he's phenomenal.
You have to?
Yeah, you have to.
I thought he was going to retire to watch his daughters play volleyball.
Doesn't matter. I mean,
I thought he had health concerns.
He's busy cheating. No, he's a good coach. I mean, as much as I hate seeing him at Ohio State, I mean, you had to be in love with him and Chris Leak and Tim Tebow,
Timmy T,
and Percy Harvin and all those guys when they were at Florida. They made them perennial winners again because Florida's a very interesting team where they're either dominant for a decade or they fall off the map.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no in between. So
there was the 90s run with all those guys when Spurrier was a coach. And
that was fun. I was very young, but like them and FSU, man.
Yeah, that was great growing up in Florida. I mean, even throw Miami in there, and that was just
we both lived in Florida at that time.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Where were you, Palm Beach Gardens?
We never knew
the
each
hardcore
other.
Streets of Palm Beach Gardens.
Yeah, you don't know my life.
That's okay, dude. I was from thug-ass Palm Coast, dude. You don't even know. A1A, bitch.
I would be remiss not to mention... Talk about a fucking comeback story. Penn State, I think they actually won the Big Ten last year, and they didn't make it to the playoff because I think they had 3 losses. Playoffs.
There you go.
They're returning their quarterback and their star running back. Their star running back's Barkley. I think his name is Shaquan.
Yeah.
He rushed for 1,400 yards last year. I think they're an underrated team. They lost Godwin to the Bucs, but I still think McSorley can throw the deep ball.
Oh,
like
he's
no one else.
he's that third slot receiver that they were talking about on Hard Knocks.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think they're, but I'm not going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go with Ohio State out of the Big Ten.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
you got Michigan. I got Ohio State.
That's practical. There's no way I'm going with a hairless nut. What else? What else do we got?
Big 12. You got
Also
non-Bob Stoops coached Oklahoma. That's going to be weird. The other big coaching change is in Texas.
Were there a lot of decommits?
I don't think so.
No,
he retired. I thought he got fired. Apparently he resigned, which is
basically he probably fucked a kid. I mean that's usually
no, that's Penn State.
Yeah, I know, but I mean like it's where there's smoke, there's fire.
That's weird. I shouldn't have laughed so hard at that.
That's okay.
So you got Texas, who Tom Herman takes over from Houston. So now he's head coach of Texas. You still got you got Kansas State. You got Oklahoma State with Mike Gundy with that glorious mullet. It's also yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of the Mike Gundy rant of you're gonna call my kid fat?
Oh,
come after me! I'm a man. I'm 40. That was 10 years ago.
It flies, man. I hate to say those cliche like old dad sayings, but it's like I have my 10-year high school reunion.
Yeah,
like in a month. Like I'm like, what the?
You know what? Also,
I can't even grow a beard.
You know what today is the 10-year anniversary of?
What's that?
Appalachian State coming into the big house.
That's wild. Why do you want to fuck with me? We're past that division. Like we don't really need to talk about that anymore.
So who you got coming out of the Big 12?
This is a division that doesn't really interest me as much as it should.
All offense, no defense.
Yeah, pretty much.
Weird. Yeah.
You want to go with the perennial, like the historical teams, like obviously you said like Oklahoma, you know, so on and so forth. But something about Kansas State, I love it. I don't really give a shit about this division.
Don't look at my notes.
What, did you say Kansas State?
I put Kansas State.
Dude, did we agree on everything except Ohio State, Michigan? That's okay.
I think
that is a rarity if you were a first-time listener. I fucking hate this guy.
Kansas State coming out. They're returning their quarterback, Ertz. I think he's a dual threat. He's very good. And Bill Snyder is a hell of a coach. He doesn't get enough credit.
That was my main.
They play hard. They play so hard for him. And he's coming off of throat cancer surgery, so it's like Chuck Pagano, you know, like that whole thing coming out. I think he's going to inspire his team. I think it's a down year for Oklahoma. I think it's a down year for Texas. I think Oklahoma State...
Yeah, Texas was... You know, I was thinking about Texas, too. Like, I was like... And then I'm like, no.
And Herman doesn't have his guys yet. It's going to take a few years. I think Strong was always a good recruiter, but he wasn't getting the top-line talent. I think Herman's kind of new energy. He's going to come in. I think they're going to be okay this year, but they're not going to be Colt McCoy, Texas. They're not Vince Young, Texas. They're, you know, maybe...
Great NFL quarterback.
8-4, you know.
Dude, I still remember, like, how he got fucking rocked.
Who's that?
Colt McCoy.
Against Bama in the champion? Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I still contest that Texas might win that game. Let's go back. Time machine.
Yeah, no.
So we both have Kansas State. Okay, we both have Kansas State. Pac-12.
Pac-12. Break it down, baby.
So
Let's go.
You got surprise team last year, Washington, returning their quarterback, Jake Browning, losing. It was just so weird to say. I think we mentioned this on the draft special, is that so many teams got their entire defensive backfield drafted, and that includes Washington, Colorado, out of there.
Well, side note to that, too, is I feel like the NFL, you know, there's always been a heavy stress on secondary and quarterbacks in general.
Especially now.
Yeah, but
I feel like dime defenses.
Yeah, and I really feel that some of the positions, like there's always going to be the consummate quarterback position. Mm-hmm. But I feel like running backs can go in the second, even like top tier, fourth. Wide receivers aren't as valued as they used to be, but like a secondary, I feel personally that the NFL is just shifting to very, very strong defense. And I think it's a direct attribute to great organizations like the Patriots and the Steelers, where they just groom these guys and they groom. And it's like you look at the Patriots in general, I think they have, 3 college quarterbacks that are playing receiver? You know what I mean? Like you had Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan, maybe 2, but still, you know what I mean? So I just don't think, I feel like when you were saying like everybody's losing the secondary, I think that that attest to it. We're seeing the NFL morph.
Yeah.
And especially with running backs, running backs had a shelf life of 30, right?
Yeah.
And now they're dual. It's dual backfields.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kuiper always says, no matter how good the running back is, don't draft him in the first round.
Right.
I think that's pretty interesting. But in the Pac-12, I guess the question is, does Washington repeat? Do they have the talent to do it? Of course, the team everyone's talking about is USC. Everyone just wants USC to make a comeback. Everyone, it's that one weird team that every year
has great linebackers.
They have the talent, and then every college football pundit is just drooling over them about how much talent they have, and then they think they're the 06 team, and they're just not.
Yeah.
And they don't. I mean, Pete Carroll's not their coach anymore, and I think that's. I wouldn't say he's underrated, but people don't give enough credit, I think, to how good of a coaching job Pete Carroll did. How good of a
Pete Carroll took the Seattle Seahawks to Super Bowl.
How good of a GM
twice and won it.
How good of a GM he was at USC, paying all those players.
Listen, he got the fuck out of Dodge, dude. He did the reverse Nick Saban.
So. Nice. But I unfortunately, other than Washington State's very interesting to me. I like Mike Leach is their head coach. He's just a crazy offensive guru. That guy's going to throw for 5,000 yards and 45 touchdowns again. They're interesting. Colorado, I think, has a down year. Washington and USC, I think, are the two guys coming out. And, oh, my God, did you write USC?
I did write USC. That was his. I did. Well, no, I wrote USC as a timestamp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all
not
right.
as
as a tramp stamp.
As a tramp stamp.
You got a tramp
timestamp. This is I bring it back. This is my least interesting division. I could care less.
More
about
than
this.
Big 12. Let's play. What division do you like?
Big Ten.
Big Ten.
The Big Ten.
We're in the Midwest, in case for all my Florida listeners.
Yeah.
We're in Chicago.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and it's weird. I have no ties, no alumni, nothing like that. I love Michigan Maize and Blues since I was 4 years old. I was
Yeah.
Oh, so anyway, back to this. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be that bandwagon guy. I'm thinking Washington.
Washington.
You know, you got to go with the dominant team of last year, riding the momentum.
Yep.
Who do you have?
USC.
Why are you giving me so much shit then? The fuck?
Because I didn't want to just have the same.
Dude, he basically waterboards me with this whole all these fucking analysts. He's like, yeah, USC. No shame. No.
I like Sam Darnold. I like their quarterback a lot. I think they have a solid D line, solid O line, which I think is the key coming out there. I think they always have talent at the skill positions, and. Yeah, I think moving on to our next topic, which is the way too early Heisman prediction. That's who I have for the Heisman, Sam Darnold.
Oh, okay, all right.
Who do you got?
This is a weird segment. It's so early to tell, but maybe Jackson again.
Back to back Jackson. That's what I call him.
What offense do they run at Louisville? That's just a vertical spread, right? Mm-hmm. I just feel like he's going to put up gaudy numbers.
Sure.
So you have to talk about him. Are there any? Real running backs that are, the McCaffreys are gone and things like that. Is there a running back that's really you're drooling over?
No, not really.
Leonard Fournette's gone. So
it's Bo Scarborough, maybe.
Yeah.
I like him a lot, but I think Hurts is going to put up really good numbers too. The SEC is going to have tough defenses, so it's it's weighted.
Yeah,
I think. This Clemson guy's looking good. This quarterback.
Yeah, he's dropping dimes right now.
Kelly's
you guys can't see this.
Good.
We will,
JT Barrett's another guy.
Yeah. Stop.
They're running back too.
Stop your face. Clemson is just making mincemeat of Kent State right now. Guys, just also if you
talk about the Kent State massacre.
Too soon?
Am I right?
Too soon? Oh, geez, that's a groaner right there, buddy.
Write down Kent State. Groaner.
Kent State massacre.
So I thought, actually, we have a question about college football.
Let's get it.
Comes from Rob.
Whoa, shout out to Rob. What's up, Rob?
From Portland.
Rob from Portland.
His question is, even if Bama has 2 losses and wins the SEC, are they still going to make the college football playoff?
You want to take this one?
Sure. I think they have enough clout where even if they have 2 losses, let's say, I think the question is, if they have 2 losses and win the SEC, are they going to make the playoffs? I say yes. If they have 2 losses and don't win the SEC, that's the question. Now, that's interesting. I think a 2-loss SEC champion is going to make the playoffs no matter what. I think SEC and Big Ten are clearly the 2 best conferences for football.
Right.
So, as you saw last year, Ohio State made the playoffs, not winning the Big 12. Or Big Ten, excuse me.
Yeah, you know who won the Big Ten?
Penn State.
Michigan.
Oh, Michigan won it. Michigan won it?
Michigan won the Big Ten last year, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm fucking positive.
So we clearly know what we're talking about here.
Yep.
So I think if they win the SEC, as I said twice before, yes, I think they make it. If they don't win the SEC and have 2 losses, I think it all depends on who the SEC champion is. If it's a 3-loss Florida team, if it's a 2-loss LSU team, if it's a team that hasn't looked so good but barely makes it, and Bama is so dominant in their wins.
Yeah. I think LSU is a really interesting.
I would say. I just can't believe they fired Les Miles.
That to me is just...
It always bothers me.
He has inside info on something, you know what I mean?
It just says Bears kicker Roberto Aguirre. He got cut. Never mind.
Of course he did. He missed a 30-yard field goal in a dome.
I think the Bama question is very interesting. If they win the SEC, yes. If they don't, it depends on their... Not their point differential, but how they look in their wins, I think. And they can still make it depending on who wins the SEC.
Right,
If it's a 3-loss team, I think they get in over that team.
Yeah, mine is going off of sheer track record. I think when you win 97 of 98 games in the past 3 seasons,
you get a boost.
You get a pass, and it's one of those things. Now, when it's human nature when somebody's on top for too long, you want to see them dethroned. You want to see you want to see an Auburn win, or you want to see maybe LSU take it back or something like that. People are tired of seeing Crimson, I think, by and large, but they're a dynasty, and they're the best coach conference, or the best coach team in one of the strongest conferences. You kind of got to give them that pass.
So last thing I want to do about college football real quick. Who you got tonight? The big matchup, FSU and Alabama.
Bama.
I got Bama too.
Yeah, Bama.
I think DeAndre Francois, the quarterback for FSU, is really freaking good. I just don't think they have the wide receivers. You got to have tall, big wide receivers to beat Bama.
Very bizarre.
They don't have them.
I mean, FSU has always had good receivers.
So I thought we'd move on to the NFL.
Okay.
So I thought we'd start off too with our 2 teams. One of them is on Hard Knocks. That'd be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That is true.
We're doing our weekly recap of Hard Knocks this week. Aired Tuesday. Cue the sad music.
Okay.
Riley Bola, your boy, just got cut. There's hope, slight hope. He comes back on the practice squad. I was trying to tell you about this. He just doesn't have the lateral quickness.
Well, what's frustrating is with teams like Seattle. I think they're one of the last coach teams where it's the best guy gets the position. I mean, at a certain point, heart overrides talent, in my humble opinion. And I think without that mindset, we don't have the Kevin Greens, we don't have the John Randalls who are sneaking chains into us just to make weight. You know what I mean? And Riley was in on every single play. He was consummate. Is he a starter? Maybe not. But is he a Hunter Hillenmeyer that can fill in the gap? Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not give that guy a chance? And I think there were 31 other teams that were watching that are at least going to give him a chance if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't. Because, you're high on Quan Alexander and Levante David, correct?
Of course, yeah.
I mean, they're still relatively unproven. Right?
Disagree. 100%. I think Quan is...
I don't hear anybody talking about those guys outside of Bucs fans.
Levante David is the best weak side linebacker in the game.
Okay.
That's hands down, no questions asked. He's
potential, or
no, Levante
just
David,
numbers.
No, Levante David's been in the league for 6 years now.
Okay.
He's a mini Derek Brooks. He's great.
Okay. See, I think that's a bias.
He's an 88 in Madden every year. He's 88 or 90. He's every year.
Okay.
If that's your measure for whatever.
Madden, man, that's where
Quan Alexander's coming in at an 81 this year, Madden. But he's a guy who I remember his brother passed away, and he was playing against the Falcons, and he made 19 tackles with 2 sacks and a forced fumble. I mean, he's got that heart you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's got that love for the game. And I think
not very spotlighted on this Hard Knocks.
No, it's weird. And I was saying it, I think, a couple episodes ago. We haven't really met Quan. We haven't met Levante David.
We, as in like you and I personally.
Yeah, as in us.
What's up, what's up, K8?
The audience.
The audience. Gotcha.
And I think the Riley Bola thing, I think, was fun. I think HBO and especially Hard Knocks does this where they focus on a player and they show you the highlights and they put them to you as like not propaganda. That's way too strong of a word. But they put together the good stuff and they want you to root for them.
Right.
And I think the same thing happened if you remember the old 24/7 documentaries.
Really quick, hold that thought, guys. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back to you shortly. Give us one. What's going on, guys? We are back. Sorry about that.
Had to take a little bathroom.
Had to relieve ourselves.
So as I was saying,
that's really shitty of you to say.
HBO seems to do this where they tug on your heartstrings and they really want you to root for a guy. And I feel like Riley Bola was this year's guy. I remember those boxing documentaries 24/7. It was Pacquiao Hatton. And I remember watching all of those and just being so into it. I'm like, Hatton's got a chance.
Hatton's the man.
He got knocked out in the second round. And I was just like, that's when I knew not to trust HBO as far as that goes. And the week before, too, they
guys, do not trust HBO.
Although Game of Thrones, love you. Although this season...
I must be the only person on the world that has not seen past season one. Not good?
It as much. It felt like fan fiction to me.
Sons of Anarchy had a really bad season, season 3, and then season 7.
Yeah,
there was an episode, something happened, and I was like, "All right, enough, cut the shit."
I just love how they killed so many people and they never got caught.
Who's that? Oh, Sons.
Yeah, dude.
And then they end up like fucking the sheriff. That's a whole nother. So let's get back on track.
So talking about players to focus on. This episode, they focused on an old FSU wide receiver, Bobo Wilson. I don't know if you saw this. I think this would make you very upset too. I was watching it. So he's like their sixth wide receiver, seventh wide receiver.
Well, he's the wide receiver that played with Jameis Winston at FSU, so, and they showed like the worst side of him.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is he has the talent? Maybe. He definitely has the relationship with Jameis, where Jameis is trying to put him in. Like, anytime there's a break, he's like, come on in. And then, like, little things. Like, he's not hustling back to the huddle. And he's like, that could be a penalty. The coach is like, you got to hustle back. And then Bobo's like, I'm not about that. Or I'm not like, that don't faze me. It's like, that should faze you. This is the guy who's going to get you a job in the NFL. You do what he says, even if you think it's dumb.
So you think he's an asshole?
I don't like players like that, especially a guy...
How could you? There's nothing likable about it.
Especially a guy who's not even... He's an undrafted rookie. Like, what are you doing? Be a professional. The offensive coordinator is telling you to hustle back, not because he's, like, trying to be in charge of you, because he wants to avoid a delay of game penalty.
Right. Like, and not to mention the fact, like he said the one thing in the video room, he was like, I know my shit, coach.
And coach's like, no, you don't.
He's like, no, you don't. It took you 3 answers to answer it back. That right there is an attitude issue. And if you give that guy millions of dollars and start him, I mean, I think it's only a recipe for combustible disaster.
Now, do I like superstars that do that? Of course not. But it's like, dude, you're not a superstar. Like, dude, you're not.
Even if you're a superstar, I think there's a form of humility because you see one end of the spectrum with a guy like Gerald McCoy, who's got all the money in the world. I mean, he's a top tier talent, number 1, 2 at that position. You know, you got Aaron Donald, and then you have Gerald McCoy.
Yeah.
And Dominican Sue's fallen off. You know, his age is playing factor. So when you think of guys like that are carrying pads, that are buying food trucks, that are doing things like that, and then you got this little pompous asshole that's like, I know my shit, coach, and I don't want to hustle.
But
well, fine, then you're not going to fucking.
So for those who didn't watch, real quick, he didn't hustle back. The coach told him to hustle back, and then he got attitude with him, saying that doesn't faze me. I don't listen to that stuff. And then as you were saying, in the film room, Munkin goes, all right, what defense are they running? And he just blurts out the answer. It's incorrect. And then he goes,
before he even finishes the sentence.
He's like, all right, try again. Does it wrong again. By the third time he gets it right, and he's like, I know my shit, like you're saying. And the coach is like, do you ever watch game shows? Do they ever let you guess 3 times? No. So this guy is just like, it was just a bad side of him. And of course, maybe there's other things that he redeems himself.
Now, is he still on the team, or did he get cut?
He's going to get cut.
Yeah.
He's absolutely going to get cut. I mean,
for being an asshole, if nothing else. Like, production was shitty.
You have Evans, Jackson, Humphreys, and Shepard, as well as this little guy, Dye, who I really like. Yeah. So hopefully this guy, Dye, makes the team too.
Can I go on record and say that, like, we get it Under Armour, but Maryland's uniforms fucking suck.
I love Maryland's uniforms. I love them.
Fucking hate them.
Would you like the Old Mace?
Just the helmet is too much. It's too much going on. It's like when Jacksonville did the half and half, the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, no, you're all black with the all black helmets. Those were awesome.
And there's mustard colored uniforms.
It's like mustard colored, and they got like a fucking pool and a mustache on it.
And it was so weird, too, because with the Jacksonville uniforms, because it looked like a sweat stain, but it was just the stain of the uniform.
Right.
And it was like...
And I used to love the Jaguars.
It was going from like Dijon to spicy brown.
Oh,
like,
dude, yeah.
What color mustard are you wearing today?
Not good. Not good.
So, want to go on to the Bears real quick?
Yeah, guys. If this is that part of the podcast. So I'm a diehard Bears fan. We're in Chicago. Glennon, it was good. It was good knowing you, buddy. Enjoy the pine, or whatever the fuck they use as benches over there.
Cold rolled steel.
Yeah. What I will say is that it's nice to know that there is that guy nipping at your heels. A quarterback competition is something that Bears fans have not been able to enjoy ever, I think. So there was a couple things highlighting from the last preseason game. Trubisky, I think, only threw 2 passes for 10 yards. We were trying to keep him healthy. He took that last-minute hit at the end, which was pretty scary for a lot of Bears fans.
This is the one you guys lost 20-0?
25-0 to the Cleveland Browns. But that's okay. That's okay. Some guys that I really like that I've pulled up here is Tanner Gentry. You might remember him. He was the white kid, number 19.
We don't remember him.
Well, he did the vertical. Route, and Trubisky just dropped a dime. Yeah. And they say that this is what he is. He's a speedster, vertical threat. So that's exciting to know that we have. Some notable losses is Victor Cruz. We cut him, which is unfortunate. I think this guy his body's taken a beating, and I think that we've never really had luck taking big name guys in the latter of their careers, i.e. Santonio Holmes, Sam Hurd. His was a little bit different. He did a little too much pot. But yeah, so he's gone. Also, Lamar Houston, you stupid fucking asshole. Stop injuring yourself over stupid shit, because when you're on the field for the 5 seconds you're on the field for the $39 million that we gave you, you're extremely productive, but we've only been able to have you maybe 5 or 10 games, and this is off the top of my head. So Glennon, I say, is not the week 1 starter.
Wow.
I think that
Trubisky,
Howard is going to be that Fields. I think that we got Marcus Wheaton as our number 1, or Kevin White if he can stay healthy. We also got Kendall Wright, which I find really interesting. You might know him. He was a Tennessee Titan for a long time. Kendall Wright to me is aggressive and gritty, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's not old. He's I think he's maybe 29, 30 years old. So he's still got some good years left on him. Adam Sheehan has been looking really good. That was our 2nd overall pick. Some refer to him as Baby Gronk. So I'm excited.
I mean, no expectations, but some people call him Baby
Gronk. You know what I mean? I will say that. Let me go back on that. The last thing I will say for all you Bears fans that are calling for Fox's head, you guys are fucking dumb. You need to educate yourselves and realize that what Trustman and Emery and all the offensive coordinators have done, it's a lasting effect. It takes a very long time to fix. We got Fox as a rebuilder. He's done a lot with a little, and Pace is doing a good job, and we're fine. We're gonna go, if we're lucky this year, 8-8. So I think 6-10 is something to shoot for. But we've literally got rid of everything from the Trustman Emery era. So just stay humble, as Kendrick Lamar says. Be humble. We'll be fine. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
I think it's super interesting you're saying Trubisky's week 1.
Absolutely.
Is this like confirmed or this is your thought?
Well, he was taking week 1 reps the second week of preseason.
Cool.
So, and Glennon's been somewhat productive, but not like Trubisky's almost been perfect.
You want to make a bet?
Sure.
10 push-up bet. I bet Glennon's week 1 starter.
Oh, it's like a safe bet?
Yeah.
Okay, why not?
Cool. You got Trubisky, I got Glennon. I think Glennon starts for at least 8 games. You guys go 2.
I would like that to happen.
You guys go 2 and 6, and then you bring in.
Yeah, I would like that to happen.
So that's what I'm seeing happen.
I just don't. You've lived in Chicago now for how long? Do you really think that the Chicago fan base is going to allow Mike Glennon to go 8 games?
Yes, I think it's.
I would like that to happen. Ideally, I would like Trubisky to ride the bench for the year.
I think John Fox should have some fucking nuts and tell people to back off, and he's the head coach. And
I think John Fox does.
And the fans shouldn't dictate who plays.
Yeah, but we've taken a beating from our coaches for the past 10 years. I mean...
Well, you gotta. I mean, this is like, you guys are a rabid fan base that turns on a dime. Okay, no offense. You guys are crazy.
Rabid like how?
Like, you guys, the second... That's how your sports shows sound. Not Mike the Mad Dog.
Mike and the Mad Dog.
The score.
We get it. You watch 30 for 30.
The score or whatever. Just like, and that's Trubisky guy. He needs to play. Despite the fact everyone was super pissed, except for me and you, that they traded up for him.
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my God! Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, me and you.
Yes! I was so pro Trubisky, and now all you fucking guys are eating crow. Thank you.
You were.
It's okay. I still have the 0-16 Lions on my record, so.
But yeah, I think Glennon starts I agree with you. I think Trubisky should ride the pine, or ride the pine.
Ride the pine.
Ride the steel.
Pine the steel. Steal the
for
pine.
the entire year. I think you guys aren't going to make the playoffs. I think maybe you bring him in week 8. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
on that.
but it's not like baseball where when you throw them out there, they just get so psychologically fucked. I mean, by week 8,
you can. If their offensive line, let's say they get a few injuries on their offensive line, I think you don't even play Trubisky. Like, if their offensive line is pretty steady, and Glennon's not doing good, that's when you bring Trubisky in towards the end of the year. But I would absolutely not. You guys have 3 in the middle. You guys have a very, very good guards and center. So you have Cody Whitehair, you have Josh Sitton, and you have the other guy. I forget his name. But you guys have a pretty solid interior.
I'm sorry,
line.
Who's that? What'd you say?
Josh Sitton.
Josh Sitton, yeah.
Cody Whitehair.
Yeah, Cody Whitehair.
And then the other...
Kyle Long.
Kyle Long, that's who it is.
How do you forget about Kyle Long?
I don't know.
Well, he's a little
your Dicka is a Kyle Long.
My Dicka is a Kyle Long is my fantasy football name. It's trademarked.
Do you want to do a little baseball real quick?
Yeah. Well, speaking of Kyle Long, baseball, and so on and so forth.
Nothing to do with each other.
No, he did. He played college baseball.
Oh, there you go. Nice transition.
Like that segue?
Wait, you want to do a segue?
Okay, segue. God, we're ridiculous today. Yeah, let's talk a little baseball. We got a couple pitchers that are either on the move or back. We're going to start with Verlander going to the Houston Astros.
Justin Verlander, a.k.a. The guy I met at Del Frisco.
The guy who's banging Kate Upton.
The other, whatever, fuck it. So I work at a nice steakhouse downtown, and we get a call that it's, all we hear is...
Did he bring Kate Upton?
Upton's 30th birthday. So the entire time we're like, dude, Kate Upton's going to be here. That means the Tigers are going to be here. That means, Verlander's going to be here. And we get super excited. It turns out it's Justin Upton. But this is also the same day in which they got into 2 bench-clearing brawls with the Yankees. They flew in because they're playing the White Sox next day. They rented out the patio. They were nothing but total sweethearts. They're super nice dudes.
Did you just call a bunch of grown men sweethearts?
Yeah, they're super nice dudes.
I don't know if I can be friends with you.
That's fine. I'll do the podcast by myself.
That's too much.
They're just super nice dudes, as well as they took care of us. They were great.
They were sweethearts.
They're sweethearts, except for the one guy who kept. So he pulled up the video of the fight and was just like showing the guys like, yeah, I kicked that guy's ass. It was hilarious. It was great. And then on our TVs, they kept showing the replays of the fights.
That's funny. I mean, the only real good punch I can remember being landed was what's his name at second base? No.
Odor.
No, yeah, Odor. He landed a flush cross.
Francisco Odor. No, it's Odor. It's something Odor.
Yeah. On Texas.
Yeah, against Bautista.
Yeah, about
Jose
Dave Bautista. Who's got...
Jose Bautista.
Jose Bautista. Did I say Dave Bautista?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Not the animal.
Yeah.
So I think Verlander moving the Astros, that's the one thing they needed. If Verlander can...
I don't know if he has anything left in the tank. I don't think he's going to Chris Sale it. I think he's going to be...
No, he's not going to sail it.
You know.
Sail?
Yeah.
He's definitely not going to do that. But he can be a reliable third starter because they still have... they have Keuchel... And that's his name.
Whoa.
You do this every time. That's his name. Dallas Keuchel.
Stop. We have a Jewish fan base. Nate Burrows.
We have the one. We have one. The chosen one, if you will.
The chosen. The Hebrew hammer.
And Lance McCullers, who just has the nastiest two-seamer I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, it's filthy.
It just drops off. I think they're just a really good team, and they were built like really well from the ground up. And I think that makes them and the Red Sox, I think, are the two favorites out of the AL. But I think that puts them over the top as a reliable third starter who can probably ramp it up in the postseason.
Well, speaking of favorites and just crazy teams, the LA Dodgers,
the Brooklyn Dodgers. Oh, they moved to LA.
They did move to LA.
Yeah.
They just got back an animal in Clayton Kershaw, and he pitched a quality start like he had never left.
The fact that they're 50 games over 500 and haven't had Kershaw for a long stretch of time is pretty damn amazing.
It's beyond amazing. I was joking with somebody the other day and said that I was like, they're basically on regular season mode. You know what I mean? Like how you play on the show, but you have it on recruit. You know what I mean? Like you just I don't even know how many losses they have. It's dumb, you know.
I don't even know if it's 40 yet.
Yeah,
which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, and I saw an interesting article on are they better than last year's Cubs in terms of like the stretch they're
that's
on.
interesting.
It is interesting. What I will say is, speaking of the Cubs, we found a way to win, and we're winning in good fashion, and we're putting up great numbers. I know you're worried about a lot of batting averages. Looking at the Cubs,
I'm concerned about OBPs, but yeah.
Yeah, looking at the batting averages this year is kind of obsolete because we had such an awful start. But we were, I think, just slightly under 500 pre-All-Star break, and then we went on that 7-game winning streak, and now we're pulling ahead of the pack. I think we're, 7 to 10 games out ahead of everybody, ahead of the Cardinals, thank God. And, our hottest bat is injured in Wilson Contreras. So guys have found a way to get on. I mean, Rizzo is red hot right now. Even fucking Jay Hay is getting on base, and John Jay, who I really don't care for at all, 2 homers on the entire season, is an OBP leadoff monster. I mean, we were privileged last year with Fowler, but he's found a way to really slide into that leadoff role, which is something that we were hurting this year. The addition of Quintana was great. I think he has yet to lose. So,
speaking of ways to get on base, went to the game yesterday. Beautiful day. It was so cool. It was like 65 degrees, 68 degrees.
Was it a sweetheart of a day?
It was a sweetheart of a day.
Nice.
And Schwarber. So I remember I was there, and I was like, Schwarber's up, and the guy
the day before he drove in 5 runs on 2 homers.
Okay, all right, calm down. We know you like Schwarber. So he gets up there, and the pitcher for the Braves, Folkenwitz, I believe is his name, just throwing gas. 97, 98.
Yeah.
I was like, this is perfect. This is Schwarber. This is Baez. They're gonna knock some homers if he leaves the ball up. So I'm like, Schwarber gets up the bat. I'm like, oh, he's gonna hit a home run. Like I feel it. One of those feelings. He takes this huge, massive swing, and it like dinks off the bat and rolls down the third base line
like a bunt.
And he's chugging, and the guy goes and grabs it, and Baez is on second, gets to third. Folkenwitz throws it to first. Schwarber like barely beats it out, and Baez just keeps running and scores. And I was just like, that's the way. That's like if Baez is on, you got to pay attention to him, and he just fucking scored on a swinging bunt from second, which is amazing.
Well, the cool thing is I was listening to Cubs podcast the other day, and when they were talking about drafting Baez, there were some real big names over Baez, and they're like, we're not even going to take him 9th overall, and the Cubs are like, no, we're taking Javier Baez. He is amazing. I love him. And shout out to his new hairdo. What is it, like cornrow pigtail?
Yep.
Basically like something like a 5-year-old African-American girl might wear. Is that racist to say?
Yep. Update on the worst uniforms in the NCAA football. Maryland's up 21-7 against Texas right now.
Yeah, that's...
Told you.
Good thing we didn't say Texas.
Told you Texas was going to have it down here.
Yeah.
So
we called it. You heard it here first, folks. But so the Cubs are exciting. I'm really pumped. They found a way to win. Lester, I don't know what the fuck's going on with him, but he's definitely not a leadoff guy. And Montgomery's really filled that spot too. He's got an arsenal of pitches. I think he's got like 5 or 6 pitches that he throws really, really well. So, and he's a lefty, which is nice.
So I thought we'd go into fantasy.
Fantasy. Let's do it.
So I thought we'd just do a quick little rundown of like a little love-hate. 5 players we love, 5 players we hate, whether it's based on position, whether it's based on just them in general, the history of them, or your prediction for this year. You want to start with love, you want to start with hate?
You choose. I'm feeling generous.
I'm gonna. Thank you so much.
No, you're fine.
I thought we'd start off with 5 players that we love because it's always more funny to hate players than it is to love players.
Yeah. Well, let's not say love. I have like and hate.
Really like.
Okay.
Like I like you as a person.
I just have regular like.
Like you love me and I like you as a person.
He will love or really like something. I just like these guys.
Okay. Well, so I thought
they're acquaintances.
Start off with. I'm just going to run down 3.
Guys, this is also for PPR, just an FYI. This is all PPR advice.
Cam Meredith, Julian Edelman, Brock Osweiler. What do you think?
Well, Cam Meredith's out for the season. Brock Osweiler's got $16 million in their team. And who was the third?
Julian Edelman.
Julian Edelman, man. Take him. First overall pick.
Sorry. So that was just a joke. So 5 players that I really like. For quarterback, I did a quarterback, a tight end, 2 wide receivers, and running back. So for quarterback, I went with Tyrod Taylor. I like his position. You can even get him off waivers going on. I think quarterback is so deep this year. I think he's got a better target than Zay Jones and Matthews. Now, I still like their tight end, Charles Clay. They run like a hybrid read option every now and then, so he's going to get you a few rushing touchdowns. And I'm going to talk about a quarterback that I hate later that I think people kind of compare him to. Or at least as far as the draft positions goes, depending on how deep your league is. So I really like Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor. Okay, guys, a lot of people call this guy a top 10. I think numbers don't lie, too. But he's one of those guys that almost always slips to the second, possibly even third round, depending on, again, how deep your draft is. But Doug Baldwin, if he is out there, I would say take him. Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys that's always going to get you 10 points, but has the potential to get you anywhere between 20 to even 40. I think he had a 39-point game last year. And I also think that he's, without question, the number 1 receiver in Seattle, and they're coming back with a vengeance this year. This is kind of the last year for them to really stay in contention, especially in that division.
Moving on, tight end, I really like Delaney Walker.
Yeah.
He's a guy, he's top 5 talent every year. That he never gets the love that Gronk or Kelsey does, or Jimmy Graham when he was in his prime, or Gates, or any of those guys. But every year he's consistent. He's 80 catches, 850 yards, 5 touchdowns. And I think, nice one-handed catch. Clemson, good job. Beautiful. So I like Delaney Walker. I think Jonnu Smith, his backup, might take a few catches away from him this year. And Delaney Walker even came out and said that he thinks Smith is going to be better than him in his career, but that could just be him being nice.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I really like Delaney Walker.
I'm not as high on Delaney Walker as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because this is a PPR league right now, and I do have 1 tight end on my thing. It was kind of a twofer. But Adam Sheehan of the Chicago Bears, our 2nd overall pick, I think with the offense that we're running, it's going to be run heavy and dump off passes, slants. I don't think you're going to see a lot of over-the-top stuff until Trubisky starts. And we're still up for debate on who's going to be throwing. So a tight end blanket is nice to have. The other 2 tight ends are particularly blockers, so I wouldn't worry about them catching too much. Adam Sheehan is a catcher. He's a pass catcher. That's what the Bears drafted him for. And his nickname's Baby Gronk. Can't go wrong. All the potential in the world.
Can't go wrong. With Walker, if I could clarify a little bit, I like him in the 6th round, 5th, 6th round. Don't move up to grab, don't draft him early. Because I like them as far as his ADP is the 6th round. And I think a tight end right there, if you can't get Gronk or Kelsey, which I think people usually reach in the 2nd round for guys or Olsen. Yeah. Guys kind of reach for those guys. So I like Walker based on his ADP, which is average draft position, which is later on 6th round, kind of as an afterthought.
Yeah. And if you guys can't remember, Billy really, really likes acronyms and letters. So
BT Dubs, moving on.
BT Dubs to number 2.
So I got 3 left. I'll just go with 2 wide receiver, or I'll go with Wide receiver I really like, especially this is again based on his average draft position. Adam Thielen, Minnesota Vikings wide receiver. He caught 70 balls for 900 yards last year.
I had him last year.
I
he
picked
him up in
towards
two of
the
my
end.
leagues.
He was super solid. I think he got a rhythm with Sam Bradford.
Yeah.
He's a big target that's quick enough to get open.
And he's a football player.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough in quotations.
Bradford was 70% completion last year, so he's putting the ball on target. Thielen had a couple big games. I made a bet this year. I think Thielen has 80 catches for 900 yards. And that was my bet. That's my nerdy bet.
He certainly has that potential. I will disagree with you, though. I think that Minnesota's going to flame out hard this year. It's a tough division. The Bears are on the come up. The Lions, and then you also have. You don't laugh. That's true. You're a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan. You can't
Everyone
talk.
says that's the worst division, the NFC North.
It doesn't matter. The worst division? I don't buy it. Anyway, fucking rude son of a bitch. I would like to... No, you want to take a jab at me? I'm going Keenan Allen.
No, you son of a bitch!
Keenan Allen because the guy can't stay healthy and Phillip Rivers is highly overrated.
So wait, we're still in love. We're still in like.
No, I'm on like.
So you like it?
But we're talking this is a later round if he's available.
Keenan Allen?
Yeah, definitely don't get Keenan Allen in the second or first round. That would be my advice to you. I
Sure.
think he hasn't proven that he can stay healthy. When he is healthy, there's a good rapport, but he isn't that dude. He's a third tops, fourth round kind of guy. But if he's available, grab him because we are a wide receiver heavy league, especially obviously PPR. But Keenan Allen's out there. Do it.
I like him like if you're in a 12-team or 14-team league, like late second, early third.
You're hanging on. Huh?
I disagree that he can't stay healthy. I think the 1 year he had the knee injury, the other year he ruptured his spleen. That's more unlucky than health, I think.
That's such a bias. You yourself said
no.
to me.
Listen. No.
Okay,
listen.
I'll hear you.
He's not David Boston. He's not like over. He's not out of
not
shape.
Lamar
He's
Houston.
not overweight. He's not. It's like. He just got, I think, the knee injury. Yeah, okay, but I think staying healthy over a career with like little injuries, little ankle injuries, little knee injuries. But this was like a major injury and then a ruptured spleen, which was just ruptured spleen is
that's
totally
funny
unlucky.
how that works.
What are you talking about?
We need a book. For those of you who don't realize why I'm giving Bill such a hard time right now, I have nothing but the utmost respect for my co-host.
Okay, Derrick Rose blowing out his knee year after year is different.
I'm sorry. Hold on. That's a major injury, is it not?
Year after year, though, he kept doing it. I think you can blow out your ACL.
Basically, what my co-host has so eloquently put on previous podcasts is that basically health is a skill.
Health is something that you have to take into when you're arguing over like who's the best players or who are the best all time. I think longevity of your career, aka health, is a thing you need to take into account.
Right.
So that's why you can't have Larry Bird number 1 overall for basketball because he only played 9 years.
Right.
That's my argument.
Okay, so major injuries we exclude, minor injuries.
No. What I'm saying is,
I'm just trying to clarify for the listeners.
Keenan Allen had 2 season-ending injuries. One was a knee injury. The other was a ruptured spleen.
Yeah.
I think that it's not like he had 2 torn ACLs. I think that's 2 separate things.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
I like Keenan Allen. Late second round, early third round.
Okay.
I also like his backup, Tyrell Williams.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on.
Okay.
The last running back that I like, Danny Woodhead.
Your obsession with the Chargers is just I don't
Danny
get it.
Woodhead's on the Ravens now.
That's right.
And then Kenny Dixon's out for the year. They have Terrence West as their starter.
Why did he beat someone else up again?
No, Kenny Dixon never beat anyone else.
Oh, Joe Mixon.
Yeah, don't you fucking dare.
Sorry.
Compare the two. Kenny Dix was the running back at Louisiana Tech last year. He's going to be the starter at the end. He was going to win the job in camp, my opinion, and then he blew out his knee. So he's gone because we hate people with injuries.
Right. Duly noted. I actually have
I like Woodhead. He's going to catch some balls. I like him.
I don't. I have a twofer on this one. I wanted to throw a couple guys in. I don't know how we got so off because I actually have 3 guys left, but I'm just going to group them all together. These are all guys that you can grab post third round. I feel that are going to be good. Now, guys, these are like 10 to 15 point guys. One of this guys is a consummate 20 point guy. So if he's there,
get on with it.
We got Deshaun Jackson.
Ooh.
Marcus Wheaton.
Okay.
And then my boy, Old Man River, Carson Palmer.
Old Man River, Philip Rivers?
No. No, don't like Phillip Rivers. He's like the NFL's Carmelo Anthony. He'll be forgotten about throughout the annals.
So
of
Hall of
history.
Famer.
Is Carmelo Anthony a Hall of Famer?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, let's do the hates. I'm ready for the hates, baby. I'm a fucking pessimist.
Number 1, mouth breather himself, Eli Manning. I've had him twice. I fucking hate him. Every time I get him, they're like, he's going to be fine. He's going to get you 12 to 15 points. An 8 bomb, a 4 bomb, a -3 bomb. Hate Eli Manning. I'm never going to draft him again.
You see that, Eli? You're making my co-host hit tables and do crazy shit.
Here's two emotions for watchers. 2 emotions from Eli. And
yeah,
that's it.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Fuck you.
Just saying. Guys, my guy, this is a love-hate with him, and you're going to fucking lose your shit, but I hate Dez Bryant.
Okay.
I'm really not a fan of Dez Bryant.
Do you think based on his position being drafted?
No. Just I think he's on the wrong team. I think if Dez Bryant were on, say, like the Saints or Atlanta, it'd be better. I think as a Cowboy, they're in a weird transitional phase, and I think he's the odd man out. The best thing that happened to Dez Bryant was Ezekiel Elliott's suspension, so his numbers may go up. But I don't think it's going to happen in majority of leagues, but I think in really deep leagues, Dez Bryant could fall to the 3rd round. Mm-hmm. And if he does, grab him because he's Dez Bryant. He's good trade bait if you want to trade rape somebody. Mm-hmm. But he's either going to crush this year or he's done, in my opinion. He is going to get you a touchdown every once in a while, though. Mm-hmm. So I know that seems insane to a lot of people, but Dez Bryant is my big wow factor. And I'm actually surprised that you are okay with me saying that.
I don't mind Dez Bryant. I don't think he's first-round talent anymore. I think Zeke's... That's the thing with Zeke is we don't know yet. Monday is going to be the final decision. Yeah, it's probably going to get down to 3 games.
Right.
They're saying there's
no
evidence whatsoever.
So it's all circumstantial.
That's what they're saying. That's what the
fucking witch hunts,
yeah.
man. All right, let's move it on.
Which isn't the worst thing in the world. I mean, if you're accused of domestic abuse, you should be investigated.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not we're not saying you shouldn't be investigated.
Or if you're gonna do it,
shut up. No, moving on.
All right, wait. Let's do the one that we both agree on.
Fat Eddie Lacy.
No.
Oh
no. It rhymes with tit.
What?
It rhymes with tits.
What?
It's like penny tits.
Just what? Tell me.
Kenny Britt.
Oh,
Kenny
there
Britt.
we go.
Kenny Britt. We do not. I'll let Bill take this one. Go ahead, Bill.
Kenny Britt's also a guy I think we've all had on our teams throughout the years, whether it was with the Titans or wherever the hell else he played. He's the guy who Matthew Berry or someone would tell you, oh, pick him up. He's 6'4". He had the one super good stretch of games 5 years ago,
right?
And he's been kind of riding it ever since.
Yeah.
At least as far as fantasy owners go. Yeah. I think I've had him. I know you've had him. I know other players have had him.
He's like a Jordan Cameron.
He's just a guy with so much talent and so much potential. And he's always projected 12 points, and he gets you 4.
He does make very spectacular catches. He's interesting to watch when he's hot, but as a fantasy pickup, absolutely
I don't
not.
Like him.
No way.
Especially because he's on the Rams now.
Right.
It's just,
and Jared Goff is looking like one of the biggest draft busts of all time.
Yeah.
He's not looking good.
I agree.
So let's move on. I'm going to take this one if you don't mind.
Sure.
We both agree on this. It's not one of his, but any Saints player, just stay away from him. Stay away from any Saints player. I don't care if it's Adrian Peterson. I don't care if it's Mark Ingram. I don't care if it's anybody. Just stay away from them. They distribute the ball too much.
I disagree with that one. I think Michael Thomas is someone you can draft, obviously, as well as Drew Brees. We both obviously are saying draft Drew Brees.
If you're going to draft him, draft him late.
Draft him 4th round.
8th, 9th, 10th round.
Who?
Just anybody from the Saints.
Disagree. I think Drew Brees you can get in the 4th or 5th round if you have a quarterback.
Sure,
if that's
Drew
where you're
Brees
going.
Is the consummate.
I think Michael Thomas is a 2nd round pick. I really like him. Mine is Saints running backs. I don't think Kamara. You got Ingram, and you got
Kamara.
Yeah, Kumara. Alvin Kamara.
Kamara,
not Kimura.
Oh, okay.
Kumara.
Like the White Castle?
And AP. So I don't like that running back group. I also, to add on
it's
that,
a very weird running group to have for that style of offense.
I don't like the Seahawks running backs either.
Yeah.
Fat Eddie Lacy. You got Thomas Rawls. You got Chris Carson.
Right.
You got Anthony Collins. who I think is the best running back out of all of those guys, but he's not going to see the field. You got CJ Procise. I mean, you got 5 running backs, and who knows?
I'm also
who
indifferent
gets the
as
starting
to
job.
When to draft Marshawn Lynch, if at all. Like, I think that's the most interesting fantasy player in all of fantasy. I don't know where you take him, or where he's going to fall. I feel like an idiot is going to take him first round or second round, and he's going to either do one of two things: make him look like a fucking savant guru, or he's going to make him look terrible. But I think that Derek Carr is going to distribute the ball so much, especially after that fat contract. You got Amari Cooper, you got
Crabtree.
Crabtree's arguably this number 2. He's
the best number 2, yeah.
You know, so moving on. I also have 2 more teams. Any Pats player, excluding Rob Gronkowski. Gronkowski's safe, but he's also. I had him for the past 2 years. The 1 year was really, really great. Injury also plays a part with Gronk, and Belichick really plays it safe with his stars. If they're out, he keeps them out. But Julian Edelman with the torn ACL, I think that you're going to see like Hogan's numbers go up and Amendola's numbers go up, but it's still Tom Brady at the end of the day, and he's going to distribute the ball to a kid that you've never heard of from a team that you probably didn't even know existed. Mm-hmm. So
I think Brandon Cooks is someone you can draft. I'd say stay away from all New England running backs, though, because just like Seattle, they have 4 running backs they can all pull from: Deion Lewis, James White, Rex Burkhead, and Mike Gillislee.
And he's not making any of these names up. These are players that actually exist.
So all 4 of those guys, who knows, week after week. I do like Brandon Cooks on that team, though.
Yeah, I do too.
And Gronk and Brady.
They really wanted
obviously.
him. They wanted him bad.
He's okay. I'm not at all saying he's going to be the Randy Moss year, but I think he's going to be their stud number 1 guy. They haven't had a stud number 1 guy, which is why I think they distribute so much. I think Edelman's a really, really good player, but he's not a number 1 guy.
Right.
So my next hate is pretty obvious. Sammy Watkins. I mean,
that's bizarre.
This is a guy who I think some of us, I've always stayed away from him, and it's a guy I've hated year after year.
He's gone to 2 really fucking bad teams.
Mm-hmm. He's a guy that I think has all the talent in the world, obviously. He's a guy who was drafted 2nd round a couple years ago, maybe 3rd round or 4th round last year. He just can't. This is a guy who can't stay healthy. This is a guy who has the foot injuries and then has the ankle injuries, then has the knee injuries, then has the shoulder
injuries. So Keenan Allen good, Sammy Watkins bad.
I like how you're just taking my arguments and not listening to them at all. This is the guy who just has nagging injuries over and over again. As opposed to just a one-cut bad. Okay, whatever. Anyways, I don't like Sammy Watkins. Again, he's on LA, which is just another thing to stay away.
Let somebody else grab him, in the earlier mid rounds. I mean, if he's obviously,
I think he went undrafted in my 1 league.
Did he? Mm-hmm. Yeah, smart. You got some savages in there. And then my last one, because I have to end on a controversial note with my co-host.
Same with me.
Any Charger outside of Melvin Gordon. Antonio Gates.
You liked Keenan Allen.
I like. Well, obviously, I said I like Keenan Allen. Any outside of so basically anybody else. No, stay away from Antonio Gates. Guy's a grandfather. So pretty much. And again, Phillip Rivers, he distributes the ball a lot too. It's basically if you have an excellent quarterback that stands in the pocket, I would stay away from those kind of guys because they just distribute the ball too well. It's when you get a Big Ben, why is AB so highly touted? In my weird little hypothesis, I think it's because he's a scrambler and he's a mover and he's a shaker and he dumps it off. Same thing with Russell Wilson and Doug Baldwin. Same thing with you got a monster like Julio Jones or like even Eli Manning has good pocket presence when he wants to. So that's where I'm at with that. So Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, anyone else stay away from.
My last stay away from, which I don't know if it's controversial or not, because a lot of people are touting him this year, just because of the position he plays. I'm going to say Martellus Bennett, because he's a Green Bay tight end. Listen, this happens year after year. Bubba Franks, Jermichael Finley, Jared Cook.
Bubba Franks, nice name drop.
Martellus Bennett. This is just another guy who's touted because Aaron Rodgers is quarterback, he's going to have big numbers.
No, he's touted because he's very talented.
So was Jared Cook. So was Jermichael Finley. They all had talent.
But Martellus Bennett is
He's done it before,
elite.
but listen. is Rodgers does not have a connection with his tight ends that people think that he does. I don't know why
Like
they keep
they want
saying
him
it.
to have it.
Jordy's the guy to get. Cobb is an okay guy. Adams is a guy to get. I just don't think Bennett. I saw Bennett going in the 5th round in one of my leagues. I think Bennett's a guy you can pick up on waivers, maybe as like a guy you can start here and there. I just don't like Bennett for where he's going.
I'm 50-50 on that argument. I agree with you that like fantasy football fans want Aaron Rodgers to be tight with the tight ends.
It's so weird. Every year they want the tight end for the Packers to be good, and he's just not. He's not a top 10 guy.
What I will say, what I do
out.
disagree with you is I think given the right circumstance, given the right scheme, he is an elite tight end.
They said that about Jared Cook.
Well, they were fucking wrong.
Okay.
So, but what I will say is you got your guys, right? You got your Jimmy Grahams, you have your Gronkowskis, your Delaney Walkers. There's a couple other guys that I'm probably, overlooking, but Martellus is right up there. He's 6'9", 260 solid.
6'9".
He's 6'9".
He's not 6'9".
You want to make a bet?
5 push-up bet.
10
6'6".
10 push-up bet.
Perfect.
Boom.
6'5".
I want to look it up right now.
6'5" or 6. Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna look it up right now. Oh man, this is awesome.
6'9".
He's 6'9".
He's 6'6".
Okay.
Martellus Bennett height.
All right, I'm going to.
So I think one more that I'm going to throw in there that I don't like, which is a guy who I see going in the 3rd round. It's a guy that I think people begrudgingly pick up because he is the number 1 guy, is Lamar Miller. 6'6".
That's bullshit.
6'6".
He was listed as 6'9".
Where? In the WWE program when he was heavyweight champion of the world?
This is shut up. He is not
coming in at 7'4", Andre the Giant.
Yeah, this is bullshit. Who is this? Who is this?
6'6".
No.
I want 10 push-ups.
That's bullshit.
We're gonna end on the 10 push-ups.
All
so
right.
I don't like Lamar Miller either. That's my last guy.
Lamar Miller. Yeah, of course. Why is he even? Why are we talking?
Because he's the number 1 guy. He's the number 1 guy in Houston, and he's drafted.
If you draft Lamar Miller, good luck.
Shitty Lamar Miller. That's what I call him.
Good luck, guys. If you've stayed tuned to this hour and 10 minutes,
one more question. Sorry.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
One final question.
One final question for a non-PPR.
Yeah,
believe, right?
This is non-PPR. Who's the best wide receiver? Non-PPR.
So
this is a guy, sorry, real quick. This is a guy that you're looking for. If you are playing non-PPR league, obviously yards and touchdowns.
Right.
So you don't need like Jarvis Landry is not a very good non-PPR wide receiver.
And we're talking wide receivers, correct?
Because he'll get you 95 catches but only 900 yards.
Right.
Yeah.
AB, Antonio Brown. I mean, if you get an opportunity to draft him, a close second would be Odell Beckham, just because of his yak, which is yards after the catch. You like how I did that?
I do.
And his ability to separate, his footwork, his speed. Antonio Brown, same thing. And Antonio Brown, the cool thing about Antonio Brown, and especially when it comes to a non-PPR league, is they get so close to the goal line every time, and it's like a slant or out route. And he's got it. You know what I mean? So those are your 2 guys. Maybe a close third for like a goal line sniffer, and I think this is goal line sniffy sniff would be Julio Jones.
Yep, I like all those. Obviously, I mean they're the top 3 PPR, non-PPR. A guy that I really like. I think Doug Baldwin's a really good choice. Not number 1 overall. I think number 1 overall is probably it's Antonio Brown. I mean, if Roethlisberger healthy, Antonio Brown's the best player in football. I mean, other than Lev Bell, maybe, or David Johnson, probably the best fantasy player in all of football.
Which is why I asked. And if it's not wide receiver, too, I would go David Johnson.
Yeah. I think wide receiver, a good choice, too, would be Jordy Nelson, because he's going to get you 10, 12 touchdowns. And that's what you're looking for in non-PPR is yards and touchdowns.
It's coming off injury, too, which is interesting. So, do we have any other questions?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, we're good. Guys, thank you so much. I know it's been a longer podcast. Please feel free to email us at menandscoringpod with any of your fantasy football questions, any topics that you want us to talk about. We are listed on Facebook, SoundCloud, and iTunes, all self-titled Men in Scoring Position. You can find us on Snapchat and Twitter at Men in Scoring POS. Guys, this will be uploaded to YouTube. We are through them exclusively. And if you like any of our social media pages, you can come to the world-famous Laugh Factory at 3175 North Broadway in Chicago, Illinois. Show the box office that you like us.
Is that the address?
That is the address. 3175. Yeah, because Belmont's 3200.
Okay.
Yeah. You okay there,
Yeah.
Chief?
All
All right.
right.
So, and you will get complimentary tickets to any one of the shows. Guys, thank you so much. Bill, what do they always need to do?
Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend.
A plethora?
A cornucopia, if you will. Also, check us out Facebook. As I already said before, we're doing really well on that. Ask us questions on there.
Yeah,
we're very engaging.
We check it. Well, I engage.
Yeah,
That's
you
my
are
thing.
engaged.
I engage. All right, guys. Thank you so much.